Hello friends, today we'll be discussing the topic related to statistical inference and testing of hypothesis. Now first let us discuss what we mean by statistical inference. Basically, statistical inference is a branch of statistics which is mainly concerned with probability and it deals with the uncertainty in the decision making. So mainly when we draw the sample from the population, we work out different estimate and always try to see whether how far it is close with the population parametric value. So before we go for the different tests, let us discuss regarding certain terminology related to this topic. First of all, what we mean by statistical estimation. Now it's a technique of estimating the population parameter on the basis of information obtained from the sample. Now, when we work out different statistic, what we call the estimate, it has to be tested for its significance, how far it is close to our population parametric value. And such type of test, it is known as the test of significance. So that way, if at all we want to define what is test of significance, it is a statistical procedure for deciding whether the observed difference between the sample estimate, for example, arithmetic mean, and the population parametric, that is population mean, is significant or not at a specified level of significance. Now here we find a new terminology, that is level of significance. So that first of all, let us see what we mean by level of significance. Level of significance is the maximum probability of rejecting the true hypothesis. Now this statistical estimation, if we look at through diagram, you can see that this is a population from which we draw a random sample and from that we work out an estimate. So that will represent our population parameter. So there are several steps which we have to follow for testing our hypothesis. The first step is setting up the appropriate hypothesis. Now let us see what we mean by hypothesis. Hypothesis, it's the statement specifying the parametric value of a distribution for which the sample is drawn. Now basically we set two types of hypothesis. One is the null and another is the alternative. When we say null hypothesis means it's a statement of equality. There is no difference between the estimated value and the population parametric value. So whenever we set the null hypothesis, we should also set an alternative hypothesis, because whenever we want to reject the null hypothesis, then some alternative has to be accepted. So alternative hypothesis, that is normally indicated as H1 or HA, is against null hypothesis H0, and this describes the changes, state or existence of the difference. Now the second steps which has to be followed is the level of significance. Generally we fix 5% and 1% of level of significance. So let us try to understand what we mean by level of significance. Level of significance, it's a maximum probability at which one would like to reject the null hypothesis when it is true. So once you set the null hypothesis, when you fix the level of significance, then we normally go for appropriate test of significance. Now this level of significance, normally we fix at 5% or 1%. In that also we have two options. We can go for two-tailed test or one-tailed test. See, you can see this hypothesis that mu1 equal to mu2 as against mu1 is not equal to mu2 or mu1 is greater than or mu2. Now two-tailed test means the area of rejection. Here in the graph you can see that it is on the two-sided, 25% on left hand side, 2.5 on the right hand side, and middle one area, that is 95%, which is known as the acceptance region. In one-tailed test, we fix the area of rejection on one side of the curve, that is 5%, either on the left or on the right hand side. Now when we go for this test of significance, we are liable to commit two types of error, type 1 error and type 2 error. Let us try to see what we mean by type 1 error. Type 1 error is the error which we commit by rejecting the true null hypothesis, and its probability is normally given by alpha, while type 2 error is committed by accepting the null hypothesis when it is false, and its probability is normally indicated by beta. Now in the tabular form you can see that when null hypothesis is true and if you accept it, your decision is correct. If you reject it, your decision is wrong, what we call the type 1 error. If null hypothesis is false and if you accept it, it's a false decision which is indicated by type 2 error, and if you reject it, your decision is correct. Now the third step in testing the hypothesis is set a suitable test criterion. Now we have different tests in statistics. For a comparison of the mean, we have two options: z-test, which is normally used for the large sample where the sample size is more than 30. We have small sample t-test, which was given by W.S. Gossett, and that is normally we use for again comparing of the mean. But if at all our interest is to compare the variances, we go for f-test, which is given by R.A. Fisher. And if you have a qualitative type of character, you can go for chi-square test. Now these are the different test criterion which I have already discussed. Now let us see what we mean by large sample test. Now it's a test which are to be followed if your sample is satisfying certain condition. First condition is data should follow normal distribution, sample size should be large, the standard deviation of the population should be known if the sample is not large. Now in large sample test we have different tests like 1 sample Z and 2 sample Z. In 1 sample Z normally we compare the estimated mean with the hypothetical mean, and it is a ratio between the estimated population mean and hypothetical mean to the standard error of mean based on the population standard deviation. While in case of 2 sample Z, where we set the hypothesis H0 mu1 equal to mu2 equal to mu, where we take the estimate of mu1 and mu2 as x bar and y bar, and then that difference is to be divided by a standard error of mean of difference. The next test under the when the sample size is small is the student t-test. Again here we have two conditions for its application. First one is same as the Z distribution, Z test, that is the data should follow normal distribution. Second one is the sample size should be small, that is less than 30, and the standard deviation of the population has to be estimated from the sample. Now in case of t-test we have three different tests. First one is like Z-test, that is what we call the 1 sample t-test. That is again a ratio between the estimated mean and the hypothetical mean to its standard error. If you have 2 sample, whether it is coming from the same population, you have an independent 2 sample t-test. In third test, that is the dependent 2 sample t-test, what is normally known as the pair t-test, where we have a related observation and their formula is slightly different in comparison to 2 sample t-test. Then the computation part is an important thing which you have to work out either the mean or the standard error, and then it is to be used in the formula given for different tests. Finally, once you get the value, you have to conclude for your result. In the conclusion, normally we compare the calculated value with the tabular value. As far as the Z-test is concerned, the value is fixed, that is 1.96. If your calculated value is more than 1.96, we reject our hypothesis, and if at all it is small, it is less than or equal to the tabular value, we accept the hypothesis. Now acceptance of hypothesis and rejection of hypothesis means, if you are not accepting the null hypothesis, means the difference between the sample estimate and the hypothetical parameters value is a real difference. It is not coming because of the chance, and you can say that the given sample is not coming from the population for which you have assumed. So these are some standard value of the T table by which you have to refer whenever with the use of the the degrees of freedom. This is the table shown for the z-test. And here we have to learn one more concept, especially used for the t-test, that is the degrees of freedom. Degrees of freedom is nothing but the number of observation minus 1, which we are using to refer the t-table. So now we can see certain examples on one sample Z. These are the procedure which I will not now discuss because we have already discussed these steps. Step number 1, that is the setting up the null hypothesis. Step 2, that is the fixing the level of significance. And then these are the value of the Z for 5% and 1% for two-tail and one-tail t-test. And then the next part is the computation of the Z. These are the different formula which you have already learned in the practicals, which you can apply here. And finally, the calculation of the normal deviate, that is z-test, and then you have to conclude. This is the example which you can see that how the z-test can be applied for testing the hypothesis H0 mu equal to mu 0. Here mu 0 we are assuming that the average yield of is 3500 kg per hectare. And these are the different steps by which you can calculate the value and finally you get the value of Z. This is the example of one sample Z test, and finally this is the conclusion. This is the example of two sample Z test. Different steps are again here. You have the formula, you can work out the value, you can compare it with the table value and draw the conclusion. Thank you.